anywhere they want to go to, and very often they go across so many PUs. They are given free access, and with briefly security agencies, they are well aware of this, so they are always given free access. So there might be places where they are concentrated in, and they are also mobile, so they move around quite a bit. Maybe when you go back to your correspondence on ground, you might look out for some of those observers.
In a couple of minutes, we'll get updates, but you see, we're always very careful when we want to ask questions regarding security, because so I don't let about to travel, given the fact that Edo State says is the heartbeat of the nation. Yes. That's where you pass to the southwest, and you just informed us here that Ondo State is bordered by, you can access Ondo from about 6 different directions or more. So how are you managing the lockdown of the states?
Well, for us, we have made our ops order to ensure that all the routes are covered. We have also made effort to inform people to exercise patience and bear with us that this, what we are doing, is in the interest of peace, tranquility, to ensure that a peaceful and a transparent election takes place in Edo, in Ondo, because infiltration into the state capital or any part of the state during the election period can be of adverse effect to the process, because some people who may not like the process to go scot-free will use that opportunity. So we have made plans to cover those areas, and like I told you, it has been covered, and only those people on essential duty are allowed to, for every rule there is an exception. The lockup is not something that does not allow people on essential duty to perform their lawful duties.
Mr. President, before the election, had talked about the fact that not minding which political affiliation you belong to, the people should come out and vote. And just yesterday, before today, a group visited him and he said that Edo election was peaceful, and he expects that Ondo election should be better. What's your thought on this?
Again, Mr. President was quite on point. He's the father of the country, and that was why I took an exception when when he was visited a couple of times by, because I felt it should remain neutral for the purposes of ensuring. He is a card-carrying member of a party, and it needs to be above board. It needs to give the, in the past we used to say,
as Mr. President is speaking to Nigerians.
Exactly, exactly. It needs to. There are 28 candidates. You cannot give any preferential treatment to any, including members of your own party, without engendering bad blood and incitement, which is why it is good, and it is very desirable that the president has made it very clear. I'm not the way bookmakers will want us to believe. As many of us were shocked with the American elections, when they said bookmakers were proved wrong. The most important thing is that every president, every governor, the governors ought to take a cue from the president to say, look, yes, I am the governor, I'm on the platform of a party, but let the best candidate wins. Even if the candidate, of course, the preference would be, because I also had the president say, I want you to vote for APC, but the choice is with you. I am a party man. I have come to plead with you on behalf of my candidate. Let the best candidate still wins. Okay. And that is the right thing for a statesman to do.
Okay. Quickly, I hear Femi has a couple of reports, but before then, we just got reports that the SDP governorship candidate, Olu Ogunloye, has cast his vote at Ward 10, Unit 8, alongside many voters, majority of them women. Dr. Ogunloye expresses satisfaction with the exercise. Femi, we hear you have updates and some reports, but for information, Jide Ojo says he's yet to hear from you. We're expecting you to put questions across to Jide Ojo. He's expecting some questions from you.
Jide Ojo has been saying that he wants a question from me. What I want to ask him is, when you look at internal democracy in Nigerian politics, you discover that most Nigerian politicians, when they are talking, they will tell you that internal democracy will be a trend. At the end of the day, you find a different scenario coming in. And that is why you discover that even in Ondo election, we have almost about 3 or 4 cases coming up as a result of the fact that internal democracy was not fully entrenched. From his own perspective and experience so far in Nigerian polity, and as a political analyst, what is his view about this development and what can be done to rectify these issues so that at the end of the day, when a candidate is coming out from a political party, everybody knows that that is the candidate, unlike what we usually witness. Jide.
Thank you very much for that question. Incidentally, just early last week, I was one of the resource persons at a retreat of political party and academics that was organized by Nigerian Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, Kuru, between Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday last week. And it was the theme of that retreat was internal party democracy. I have the privilege and honor of presenting a paper on internal party democracy and political party financing. And what you have seen, and you know, there is a nexus between the two. He who pays the piper dictates the tune. In fact, just yesterday, in one of the dailies, one of the parties, PDN, alleged that one of the financiers has instructed that all the party executives should go, and then there should be investigation, they should be restored. But where does that leave the members of the party? If just one individual will say, everybody, you are sacked, executive, you are sacked, another, this is the name of caretaker committees, now you go and organize convention in 3 months. It should come from the members of the party. What has happened over the years is that parties themselves have not been able to galvanize support of the public in terms of enlisting them. Classification that there are big parties, there are small parties, based on their structures and their, campaign, the robustness of their feasibility. But having said that, you find out that in the so-called major political parties, membership fee is still a strange phenomenon. Even I recall the last I read about PDP is that the annual membership fee is 600 naira. But you may want to check with the financial secretary whether we have significant number of people even paying that little. So if we allow the money bags and the godfathers to be the one to run the platform, the management and the administration of the parties, they will continue to have a dominant influence in the party, and that will make internal party democracy to be at variance. You can't expect me to use my own resources to fund a party and not have a say in how it is run. The same thing if all the members of a political party were to be active and financial members. They can then call for the audit of the financial report. They can then call for, transparency and accountability in the entire system.
I can see Femi is already looking very excited. The security operatives with him there look excited, and they are willing to update Nigerians of a development. And I believe AIG Akali believes is on the same position with me. So Femi, what's the update from your end?
Well, the update here is that we can also confirm to you that the election is going on peacefully in the 18 local government areas. And as regards security, we have decided to bring the Deputy Commandant General Operations of Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps. He is Madu Hilary Kelechi, a fellow of this Security Institute. Hilary Madu, we are welcome, sir.
Thank you, my brother.
What would you say you have observed so far? You've gone around to monitor this election.
Well, we have visited many polling booths here.
The women participation in this election?
Very impressive.
What makes it impressive?
They came out.
How?
There are very many. They came out in their numbers.
Okay.
Yes.
And what is important in any election, having women participating?
It's always victory. Victory, yes. They can do that through their votes. My names are Mrs. Titi Ogumoyela.
How will you describe participation of women in this election?
Participation of women, from the little I know is that it is encouraging. Women are all out to cast their civic duties, and people have been joining the race. In the past, it used to be that women normally run behind and say they don't want to join politics because it is a dirty game. But this time around, even when I was watching so many posters, for the first time I saw a woman, contesting to be a governor. That is applause for the women. So women are all out, they are all over the place to cast their votes, and it has been encouraging.
Taiwo Olaiwola, how will you describe women involvement in this election?
It is so amazing. Mothers we are the mothers of nations, and we want to contribute our own quota as mothers to the development of this nation, because we are the managers of homes, of children, and of everything around us, our community. So that's why in this place today you see that so many of us that are mothers are here present to cast our votes for our desired candidates, because we want good governance in the state.
Can we meet you your full name?
Our husband do turn up as well, but they are not as much as the ladies.
Post of record, sir. Can we meet you, sir?
Well, I'm Honorable Afe Olowo Kere. I'm the one representing Akure North and South Federal Constituency. Well, so far, I can say that the process is okay, especially where this center, things have been going on.
No women, no election. We'll be right back.
Thank you, Mohammed Abdulkadir. Very interesting story there. My husband has not given me permission to talk. And also, I don't talk to journalists. But one interesting thing that has baffled me so far, I've been monitoring elections. For instance, in Ondo State, we have 51.9% of women participating in this election, as against 49.1%.
But they couldn't come around. They have to really get it right. They really must get it right for them to come out one day to accept a leader, a woman leader, whom all of them will fall behind to say, we want.
Some of them have said that, Professor, some of them have said that the major problem they have is that in the first instance, you don't give them enough room to participate and be involved in some of the appointments that we have. And as such, they don't have the wherewithal. For instance, when a woman is coming out as a governorship candidate, where are you expecting him to get the money to canvass for vote?
To a man?
If you give Commissioner for Women Affairs to a man, you will discover that some women will come up and say that their position has been taken.
Let them forget about that office. Let them now fight for finance. Let them fight for works. Let them fight for education and health, where they will be able to move across to the people. Because
in fact, I've always advocated that what every political party that is worth its salt ought to give very responsible and very key decision-making position to women as a form of affirmative action. Because when you subject them to the same ability, fight for youth, fight for women, each of these positions, there is still a sub-provision that says for out of those 10 positions for military in Uganda, 2 must be women. Out of 5 for youth, 1 must be a woman. Out of the 5 for persons with disability, and that's how Uganda has been able to mainstream women into their politics. Yeah. So when people talk about Uganda election as if because they've been seeing the face of Yoweri Museveni for the past 30 years and they felt that nothing has changed in Uganda, what has changed in Uganda tremendously is the affirmative action and the quota system they have been able to put in place to redress the injustices that have been done to their women. So much so that now you have at least like a quarter or 1/3 of the parliament being made of women. So, and I think that's what the Justice Uwais, Muhammadu Lawal Uwais of 2008 reported when it says there should be affirmative action for women, persons with disability, and the other vulnerable groups, including youth. And aside from that, it also said that for party positions, there should also be a kind of affirmative action, which one of which is that there should be training. So if the chairman of the party is a man, the deputy chairman should be a woman. If the secretary is a man, the deputy secretary should be, or assistant secretary should be a woman. That way you are, because I've never seen a bird flying with one wing. You need the two wings to fly. And development is about inclusiveness. So we need to get our women adequately compensated. You find out that with the large turnout of women, whoever wins will hardly field even up to 2 commissioners, as 2 female commissioners out of maybe 15, 20. And that's not fair enough, because there should be appropriate recognition for the effort of women in Nigerian politics. The only thing we have used most of the women for is for electoral victories, to mobilize them to cast their ballot. Look at it, whether it's raining or sunny in Ondo today, those women will stand, they will stand faithful. But the men that are not even as committed will be the one to reap more of the reward of that electoral victory, which is very, very unfair.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Jide Ojo, on that issue. Let's go back to the security aspect of this.
And also protection of the ballot boxes. The protection is key to whatever we are doing today. And the DIG who is leading in this supervision in Ondo State, DIG of the police, we are complimenting. And he has asked us to impress it on our people to ensure the boxes are protected. Because that would be the main thing. If the boxes are snatched, and we're not going to witness any of that in Ondo. Because I was in Ondo before, I was the commandant of this corps in Ondo before. I know how peace-loving people are. You know, people here, educated men and women, and I don't know why people should even die for somebody who wants to come and serve. Any person that wins, he is supposed to be serving the people. Why should you even die for that person who will be at home? His children are at home, and you want to single out to come and die. So the people are peaceful for now, and we don't foresee any disturbances. And the security agencies, we are synergizing, and we are keeping in touch with ourselves, the DSS, the Nigerian police, the immigration, the road safety. That synergy is there.
That synergy is there. Okay, so what would you now say is your message to the people of Ondo State and all the politicians?
They should continue to maintain this peace. You know, yesterday something untold really wanted to happen, but the police rushed there, and that situation was contained. But some media people have blown it out of proportion, and we don't foresee any disturbances today. The Ondo people should continue to remain peaceful. They are known to be peaceful people. Let them remain peaceful, and every vote that must count means that when you vote, you either go home or you stay off the polling station a bit and ensure that these votes count. And we are there to give you protection. Nothing is going to happen to you. That is what the DIG is telling us to do. And we have asked our men to provide security to both the INEC officials and the people that have come to vote. Because we are looking out for those, you know, we may have hoodlums, we may have people that want to disrupt the elections, but we are on the watch out, and we thank God we have not received any security breach so far.
Thank you, Deputy Commandant General Operations. There are reports from Akure North on the election that is going on. And when we return also after that report, we'll be talking about one major issue in Nigerian polity, which is party supremacy. But first, the report from Akure North on this election.
This is Okiafa Owode LA Primary School Unit 001. It's Agbolu in Akure North local government area of the state. As you can see, accreditation and voting are going on simultaneously, and voters are conducting themselves in an orderly manner. The turnout is impressive, and according to INEC officials, the number of registered voters for the unit is 681. One thing that is noticeable in this unit is that most of the voters are elderly people. Here with me is Mr. Jimo Abayomi as he gives an assessment of the exercise.
Some of our electorates have been sensitized, and the turnout is very, very impressive, as I've said.
Most of the polling units visited in Akure North local government area, people were seen performing their civic responsibilities in an orderly manner. Some of the electorates that spoke with NTA News expressed satisfaction with the conduct of the exercise so far, especially now that they can do both accreditation and voting at the same time.
I've been voting for the past 30-something years, because I'm about 69 to 70 now. So there are a lot of changes.
So far, it has been good, it has been peaceful, and I'm very impressed with the turnout of people. You can see the enthusiasm in the faces of our people here. They have trooped out this morning to exercise their franchise, and this is a very important election.
This is Ayetoro, Ward 3, Unit 6, in Iju, Akure North local government area of Ondo State. And here we have 620 registered voters. We'd like to speak with the presiding officer on duty.
Everything is going on fine now.
Do you have any complaint?
No complaint for now.
Most of the respondents said they are not ready to go back home until the votes are counted. From Akure North local government area of the state, Olubukola Aduwo, NTA News.
Thank you so much for that report that has shown us that the people of Ondo State are resilient. They are ready to protect their vote. The only thing that the security has been saying is to make sure that they don't tamper with those votes. Deputy Commandant.
Yes, as I said, it's very important, because if as we vote, we want to stay, let people not cause any, let there be no trouble. All the parties, they are brothers and sisters, all the party members are brothers and sisters. There is nobody from Ekiti that is even contesting this election. All the people contesting are of one mother and father. So they should not kill themselves. Nobody from Imo is coming here to vote. Nobody from Anambra is coming here to contest. So they should see it as to me, it's like a game. You play, I may be the winner. Then you should congratulate me. You can imagine in America, upon all the insult Donald Trump was pouring to this woman, Hillary Clinton. Still, she came up to congratulate him. So please let us be copying. It's not a do or die affair. Any person that wins will all be happy, will support.
Professor Christopher, let me thank the Deputy Commandant General Operations, Madu Hilary Kelechi, for coming on this program. We'll bring back Dr. Andy Afinoton shortly. But I've talked about party supremacy in Nigerian politics. Why is it that it is not fully entrenched?
You discover that the reason why it can never is that there is a clear distinction between party structure and governance. As soon as a person becomes a governor, he hijacks the structure, which will not be. As long as a person becomes the president of Federal Republic of Nigeria, he hijacks the structure of the party. As long as we continue to do this, there will not be more party structure. A governor of a state is not a leader of that party. He should subject himself under, even in his own ward, he has a chairman, he has to respect that person. But in a structure where you become a super lord, at the end of the day, when you want to do structure, you arrange your people there can never be party structure. When President mounts the seat of governance in Aso Rock, he has his own array of executives. So there can never be party structure. When a commissioner is appointed, he becomes a leader. There can never be party structure. In those days, there were party structure on their own base, who will continue to articulate and defend government. Now, today, it is the government that is defending the party, not the party defending the government. It's not the duty of Minister of Information to defend APC. It is the party who will be defending. But it can be defending government policy. But you discover that today, the publicity secretary of a party at the state level might not be known again until the commissioner hijack his function. And now, when you are holding world meeting, it is the political officer who hijack it. That's why you don't see structures until election is coming. Because they don't recognize this leadership, they don't recognize the party until another election is coming on board. So at that time, they will now readjust their favorites into the political structure to pave way for their own candidates until we start to go back to those days of the NTA days when Akinloye was the national chairman of the NPN, when Shehu Shagari was just a president.
Form themselves around this idea. And within that context, the person who becomes synonymous with the idea, the one who embodies the idea most, emerges as the leader. Now, when such is allowed to emerge, every other one who subscribes to that ideology respects that leader automatically. And that leader feels a responsibility for the protection and inclusive involvement of all of these. It is only when such a structure, emerging as it were from the ideology, to which even the elected representatives subscribe, that there can be respect for the party, there can be control of the governing individuals by the party. This is only because everybody believes in the party. Everybody subscribes to the party, irrespective of the position you are holding. Only then can you talk of party discipline. Only then can you talk about the supremacy of the party. There are people who would rather resign their position in government in order to remain within the party structure and hierarchy. There are people who value the ideology even more than they value the party office. But here we have in Nigeria a politics of prebendalism, in which case if you are elected,
left of anxiety, particularly when you discover that it is a selected few that actually have money to spend for parties, and at the end of the day, they want to dictate the affairs of the party. How should it be? What can we do when we look at our electoral reforms?
What we can do is to ensure that, I have said it, there are two parties. People will not be able to register, you pay. I have a say in that system. In those days of the Unity Party of Nigeria and MPN, you contribute. Even when we were in the university in those days in UI, we were UPN Youth Vanguard. I will contribute no matter how small. So when we return back to our base, we'll be able to say we believe in this person. But when you don't have anything to contribute, and that nowadays, some of us believe that it is only the leader that you contribute. Whereas if you deposit 1,000 and the leader comes with 1 million, you can still dictate pace. That this my 1,000 is from my sweat. Your own might be from other side. But we are the owner of this party. But in the situation where we let it into the hand of the rich people, they will continue to tell you, this is the next House of Assembly member, this is the next senator, this is the next. But you can't say anything because you are not contributing. You can, the only thing you are doing there is just to be a super thug.
Dr. Finato, your take on this?
Yeah, thank you very much. It is not so much the fact that people are not contributing at a lower level. It is because political participation and political leadership is an elite game. Wherever there is an organization among human beings, there is usually an oligarchy. And that oligarchy, the elite, is the body that controls almost exclusively the party machinery, dictates what the party shall do, where it shall go, who and who shall represent the party. These are the people who hijack the resources of the party. These are the wealthy in the community. They are called money bags. These money bags control the party. They dictate everything, and for that reason, every other person within the party cannot claim equal status and right. This is the bane of human organization. Wherever there is an organization, there is always oligarchy. That is an iron law. And so irrespective of what you contribute, if you do not belong to the elite, then you are just a number.
This is Ondo Decides.
And I believe that the new government will continue because Ondo State have a tradition for electing the right people. Whoever emerges today will be the right one and requires the support of the state.
Dr. Andy Afinoto. Also, Professor of Physical Chemistry, who is so vast in political matters, Professor Lumuyiwa Olu Abuluoye. Thank you so much for coming on the program. Your last take is to the candidates involved in this election. When a winner eventually emerges, what would you want them to do?
Well, if the winner emerges, let the other losers congratulate. But more importantly for the people of Ondo State, don't let us play these politics of sacrifice in the beginning. Let us be more focused. Let us continue to monitor the activities of the new governor. So I don't just continue to say, and before you know what is happening, has already taken it to another new direction. Let us remain focused. Let us look at his activities before you start to hail. In some cases, if you continue to do what you did in the last time, you might be in another 4 years into the wilderness.
When a winner emerges in this election,
yeah,
there are likelihood that some of the candidates may want to say they want to go to court on this election. But so far, so good. Would you say subscribe to them going to court?
If you are saying you are going to court, you are wasting your resources. I'm saying that as soon as a winner emerges, congratulate that person. It's not a do or die. Is it a must you must rule the state?
Why would you say somebody should not go to court? Take for instance, Ameze Igebayaru to come with other guests that are also eager to contribute to this election.
Femi, very well. I have one question for the two guests, Dr. Andy and Professor Muyiwa. Starting with Dr. Andy. Going back the last few elections to today, we noticed there's a trend. Before now, you really will find a particular age bracket voting. But now you find a good number of very senior citizens making time to go and queue, making time to go and cross-check their names, and they wait patiently to vote. Some even stay back for votes to be counted. So, Doctor,
this means that we are evolving. Therefore, the old coming in as well as the young reflects also the nature of the contestant. One of them is very young, 3 others are old. Therefore, it cuts across the entire spectrum of the citizenry. We are seeing progress, political progress in Ondo State.
Okay.
My simple take is that when you are hungry and someone has now given you a signal that your voter card would remove hunger from your mindset, you come out to vote. We thank God for people coming out to vote this time around. Because in the subsequent, in the next 4 years to this time, people will prove up more than this.
Thank you so much, Professor. Let me say that a report has just come in. And after that report, I told you earlier on, Ameze Gebayaru is here. And definitely she will be taking over from me any moment from now on this election. But before she comes in and take over from me, let me say that the people of the federal local government of Ondo State have told out en masse to cast their vote in this election. Security presence was also visible. WANEC officials attended to eligible voters. But Ameze, what's your own take on what has happened so far?
Well, so far so good. There's been peaceful disposition of Ondo State people towards this election, and their security has been tight, and everything has been orderly and peaceful.
So I expect Ameze Igebayaru to take over from me, and she will also be coming with some other guests. Thank you, Ameze.
Thank you.
And to the reports now, the people of the federal local government area, what are they talking about on this election?
Commenced early with eligible voters who were already in queue taking their turn to perform their civic responsibilities.
So far, there is indication that this particular election is going to be very peaceful. We are peaceful. All the political agents,
they are conduct themselves.
So far so good. It's been wonderful. People really turned up this morning, especially in this unit. And I also got to know a few minutes ago that across the local government, the federal, where I am now, that people are coming out.
Other areas in the
position, there's a need to introduce the proportional representative system so that it reduces the margin of loss that a contestant or a party incurs in the electoral process. But the more people use or fund their electoral campaigns with money that is not readily available. We had a former Senate president in Nigeria saying some of them sell their property to contest election. If you are almost rendered homeless contesting election, will you want to easily give up on that kind of ambition? You will do everything humanly possible. That's why you find out that even the politicians are reaching out to the judiciary to procure judgment one way or the other, as we have seen in recent past with the trial of some of the justices in the court. It shows that the desperation of politicians have increased with the monetization of the electoral process. But the moment we are able to deal with corruption, the moment somebody realizes that, look, if I stake everything I have saved in my lifetime on this political ambition and I lose, that's the end of the road for me. Or if I win, the chances of me recouping my heavy investment is very reduced, you know, in which case, because even a governor, how much does a governor have in a month? I'm not sure a governor has up to 5 billion naira. If he has invested like 5 billion, how will he recoup that in 4 years if it's legitimate earnings? So what it means that's why I'm in full support of the president's anti-corruption crusade. The moment you fight corruption to a standstill and they cannot recoup their investment, they will not be using money corruptly in the electoral process again, because they will know that it's like throwing away resources. So we need to deal with money, the issue corruptive use of money in politics, in order for us to be able to get people to mitigate violence.
Or will you be surprised, will Nigerians be taken by surprise if INEC has really done so much and we're not hearing cases of maybe ballot box snatching today, destruction of ballot boxes? What would have been the secret? Because a lot of people expect that it's unusual for an election to hold in Nigeria without the cases of crisis. And we have not had any case. Do you have an update on that? Do we have any cases?
Yes, so actually, regrettably, there are 1 or 2 reports. But if, as a REC, Senator Commissioner had said, if out of over 3,000 polling units you have issues or such challenges in 2 or 3, then losing a lot of averages, that's not a bad thing at all. You cannot completely eliminate these. There will always be those who are miscreants, who will always want to disrupt the process for whatever reason. Maybe they're not doing as well as they had expected, or wouldn't just believe in the system. We live in a violent general society, so we must take that into consideration when discussing these issues. We cannot, this is not an island, we cannot say elections is different from the wider society in which we live in. But having said that, you know, especially recently, and looking at topography of the terrain of some places, violence is being eliminated. We might not totally eliminate it, but it's been reduced, and we doing our own bit. The security does their own bit. INEC, as a management body, has tried to be as transparent as possible so that people see things as they are, and you explain things to them, you have a better understanding of it. I think tempers will be reduced, and it provides for a better process.
Yeah, I imagine that the Nigerian police looks forward to a day they will hear of elections, and so little is deployed in the field. Are you looking up to this?
Yeah, we'll be happy to see that date. But yet, we always continue to improve on situations. Our threat analysis to issues of election has helped us to identify flashpoints, would-be thugs, and so forth. And these places are manned proactively, and these people are also checked undercover. And I think it is yielding a very good result.
I like comparing notes. Then and now in terms of arrest today. Is it like before?
So far, so good. We have not been able, there is no cases of arrest, because what we have are cases of maintaining situations and maintaining ground.
Okay. Well, I can see Amazie looks refreshed and ready to take from us. I'm told we have to go on a break, and we believe we'll come back. But quickly, before we go, I believe Amazie has one or two questions to put across to us before we continue this way.
She's not ready.
Our programs are getting better and fresher. And it's because we are thinking about you. NTA, it's all about you.
Service of the NTA.
Victor Moses and his colleagues made Nigeria smile last week. Here's hoping that when it comes to meeting Cameroon twice within a week next year, mid-next year, they'll repeat the same thing. Hello there and welcome to Ultimate Soccer Experience on the network service of the NTA. You see, we are so relaxed that we decided to come in and relax apparels for the program here today. And to discuss the joyous victory of the Super Eagles last weekend, we'll talk about the Super Falcons who begin their quest for yet another trophy. That's talking about African Women's Championship in Cameroon, where they get to take on Mali. We'll talk about the happenings in the league. There's the Gold Cup trophy, Gold Cup rather, where about 10 teams are in fact taking part. And it's the main preseason tournament for clubs in the Nigerian league. That will happen beginning from next Friday. And then we'll dabble into Europe, where there are a lot of derbies this weekend. But starting on the joyous note, I've got a full house. I begin with Ikuji Ojekere. And Oje, what have you got to say? Victor Moses, what he does for Chelsea, he replicated it for the Super Eagles on the day.
Yeah, it was a good one for Victor. I mean, this season he's been a different kind of player for Chelsea. Let's forget about all his loan spells at Liverpool, Stoke, and West Ham didn't go well. But then he's done all his rights. He's done everything right this time around, and brought it to the Super Eagles, and it was a fantastic one for him. Got to goals, clubbing more. I think it was a fantastic day for Moses.
A fantastic day it was for Moses. But what does this about the managerial survey of the coach Electoral? When Moses did not come for the last match, almost all hell was let loose by Nigerians who were saying, kick it out, we don't want him. Fling him away from the Super Eagles. Why is he so ungrateful to the Super Eagles? But he went to London, saw this player and their coaches, and perhaps they struck a chord. And the young man came in and replicated. I want to ask Ima Kindubua what he thinks about the management style of Electoral. Ima?
Well, the result have shown, again, Ross seems to be getting it right when it comes to, man management of the team. Against Algeria on Saturday, that's the best Super Eagles performance we've seen in recent times. The guys just had this cohesion we've not seen in the Super Eagles for quite some time. The chemistry was there. Everybody was playing for themselves. If you look at the third goal, it shows the hallmark of how the team has evolved. Everybody realized this was an opportunity. They went out all attacking. I think it's been a while since Super Eagles take initiative like that. And I think kudos must go to the manager, Gero Raw, for instilling this kind of commitment to the players as well as some cohesion in their play.
OJ, did you ever believe that, considering the supposed group of death that Nigeria was in, did you ever believe that after the first match 2 days, Nigeria will have 2 wins after 2 match days, with the likes of Zambia away, Algeria home?
I didn't believe, honestly. I'll put my money on it. Of course, after the draws, a lot of us felt Algeria was the best team in the group. Then we can't add Cameroon. Even the Algerians are still shocked that they're bottom of the group. So it's, sometimes in football, things it just go the other way around. And it's good to know that we got that win in Zambia. We've consolidated here, and if we lose this ticket, then we have ourselves to blame.
Talking about having ourselves to blame, the next round of match we'll see Cameroon, that's the Indomitable Lions, come to Uyo to play. And a few days after, about 5 days after, we go on to Cameroon to play. How important is that dual header within the space of a week?
If that game is supposed to be played tomorrow, I'll be confident that Nigeria can, win that game. But hey, between now and August, next year, I think it's August 28th, a whole lot of, things can still happen. Cameroon, they are not really strong at this point in time. They've only picked up 2 draws so far in the qualifiers. But the truth of the matter is that between now and August next year, the team may have developed. So we may not sit down here now and say this is what we should expect against Cameroonians. It's still a long way to come. But hey, the good thing is that Coach Kenoro is not losing sleep, as a matter of fact. He's also looking at setting up some friendly games for Nigeria to keep the team spirit, also bringing some 1 or 2 players who could add some competition into that team. So all in all, I think by next year, when this double header will come against Cameroon, Nigeria will be ready, considering the fact that historically Cameroon are a boogie team for Nigeria, especially in a game of very high consequence like this.
Game of high consequence it tends to be, but to prepare for this, Super Eagles have lined up a series of friendlies. One of them is in January against Egypt. And what gladdens me is that the likes of Ifeanyi Matthew, who until a few months ago was playing for Kano Pillars in our local league, is one of those that might get a chance to play. Kayode Olaniwaju is another being touted. For me, I have my reservations about that player. What do you think about that preparation and others? A lot of home-based players are going to join them because of the free weekend. What do you think about that plan, all in preparation for meeting mighty Cameroon?
No, the good thing is that we already have a pool that we know, or the coach knows. And so there are some other guys, Nigerians, who deserve to play for the national team, and that's the kind of game you need.
Chan, the preparation for the qualifiers for Chan will come up next year. So inviting these home-based players to play in that Egypt game is also another way for Salisu to prepare the team for Chan.
Certainly, you mentioned Ifeanyi Matthew. Ifeanyi is doing well. A lot of people have been talking about Kayode Olaniwaju. Perhaps this is the time to bring him in and let's see what he's got to offer. A lot of other players too need to also come in and we need to see them play. And that's why it's a friendly game. Playing against Egypt any day is a big game.
And let me remain with you. Sticking with the fullbacks have sort of been a problem for the Super Eagles. Tyrone Ebuehi from Holland is said to be the next kid that might join. But what have you got to say about some homelands like Ifeanyi Nweke, who last season played for Nasarawa?
I think we've got no business with Tyrone. The guy in Holland.
Why? Have you seen him play? You think he's not good enough or what?
We've got 1,000 right backs at home in Nigeria. Why bother ourselves with a guy who is just...
Well, you're not giving him a chance.
He doesn't want to play for Nigeria.
Perhaps his manager doesn't want to.
You don't force people to play for you. If you don't want to play, you don't force... We only have a way of trying to drag in players who from the body language, should they don't want to play. You look at... We've got 20 clubs in the league, like I always say. They all have right backs. Have we exhausted those guys?
I was just taking this.
No.
What have you
there's 18 matches.
I really think I agree with him on this one.
You agree?
In as much as Tyrone Ebuehi is he has a Nigerian blood flowing in him, and respect to what he can do, I don't think we should, be desperate to bring him to the national team when we have more than enough players who could do that.
Let me play devil's advocate. Have you really given the guy a chance? The guy said, listen, let me consider.
He was given a chance
only for his manager to say,
Michael, don't try an error. We have a guy who can come in and plug in that defense. His name is Dominic. Have they spoken to him? No. We keep going for players who... I don't think that guy... Is he a first time on this team?
Is a player. No. Dominic Alpha Jr., let's be honest, is a player you know. Are you sure the young man is... mentally ready to play for Nigeria.
Have they spoken to his father? No. You know, okay, let's even, have they spoken to Tyron's family?
It's not the same as speaking to the young man. You know the father and his independent attitude. The father might say, you go speak to my son.
See, the question is, we've got 1,001 right backs in the country. Have we exhausted them? No. No.
Eagles of Hope, led by the mercurial, on form, Victor Moses on the day. That's, however, not to say that a lot of his other teammates did not contribute their quota, beginning from playing goal up to Kelechi, a Nigerian attack. The likes of Etebo had a blinder on the day, same for Ndidi Wilfred, who came in as a substitute. He also been they can replicate this subsequently as we strive towards Russia 2018. From there, we're going to add the league, that's the MPFL. And right now, the news over everybody's sleep is the Gold Cup. Now, what is the Gold Cup that's holding somewhere in the southwest of Nigeria? OJ will fill us in on what Gold Cup is all about and when it's to begin. OJ?
Yeah, it's a preseason tournament on the 4th edition. Ijebu-Ode is a venue of the competition.
Why Ijebu-Ode?
It's from they started using Ijebu-Ode from the onset, from the inaugural edition.
Okay.
So
and they have the facilities.
Yeah, they have the facilities. Good enough. You have to make the main bowl, and they've got 2 practice and pitches outside, and you have 10 teams coming to play. Matches need to be played every day, so matches will play simultaneously. But there are 2 groups, 5 teams in each group. So both practice pitches and the main bowl of the Depot Dino.
Tell me the advantages of this Gold Cup tournament. Perhaps bring teams to play friendly matches without having to spend money to go to Kaduna play one, go to Kano to play another. They save team travel time. Hotel Money and the rest of them.
Yeah, first of all, you're playing, you're 5 teams in a group. That means each team plays four matches. That's enough for any coach to test them, all the players. Again, don't forget that, in quotes, players have not signed.
Okay.
Usually what we do in Nigeria is they look for matches to test players, and even the NPFL Super 4. After the Super 4, players move around. Players switch. Yeah.
Until the league finally starts, and you see players are
then you know that Mike has signed for a club.
Somebody else, not my own Mike. Emmanuel, what have you got to say about this happening, this Gold Cup? What do you think it portends for the league? The new dimension is taking.
First and foremost, it brings publicity for the league. We know that for European clubs, when they have their pre-season, you see them having the ICC Champions Cup, of course, Emirates Cup, and
the one that Arsenal manages.
All these clubs use it as an opportunity to, go round. I think for this one coming in, it's a really wonderful one. Like OJ rightly said, at least you have 4 games, competitive or in some extent, top-notch games that clubs and managers can use to assess their team. And couple the fact that most of the clubs in the NPFL, like 10 clubs, are even having a new manager in place. This is a competition where they should, look forward to. It's going to bring followers also to follow the league, because now the league is on a break, but we can have something to follow and assess your team and building up to the new season. So it's really a wonderful concept that I think going forward, we're going to